A changing society coupled with the growth of information technology as a tool to connect with people is changing the way information is handled and disseminated. There have been debates about media's role in fighting corruption as they originally are meant to and defending the rights of the people. However, their work seemed to have come under scanner in the recent times due to pressure from governmental agencies, non-state actors and even social media. HornbillTV spoke to some prominent journalists to get insights into the task carved out for journalists, the challenges and the way forward for the media industry. We have on our panel today L. Muli, Associate Editor of HornbillTV, one of the senior-most journalists in India. He is a National Media Award winner among other state, regional and national recognitions. Kong Walling is the Morong Express principal correspondent and has a reputation for taking on developmental issues. Another media person, Kalol Day, is also one of the senior-most journalists from the Northeast region. Dr. Moa Jamir, the Associate Editor of the Dimapur-based Morong Express, is also considered a respected voice in the media.
To Nagaland, I think we are doing a very good job of highlighting stories that have certain human interest capital, and I think we are also focusing a lot on developmental issues, especially when it comes to amenities, public services, roads and electricity, and of course water supply. So these are developmental stories that we all take a lot of interest in Accra. However, in regard to your question, whether we are focusing on some of the core aspects of human development as citizens, as welfare people, that is corruption, I don't think that we are still in a space where we are giving attention to this particular space of reporting, because you could have water, you could have proper transportation, you could have proper electricity supply, you could be a very well-paid professional in the government or private sectors. Your whole economic framework might be strong, but if your society is governed by an entity, or if your community leadership is an entity that is corrupt, then it is eventually going to affect your whole life, your social life, your political life, your religious and cultural life also. And corruption is something that I believe that the media in Nagaland should be really focusing on. We should be holding people in power accountable for all the lapses that is happening in the society. And some of my friends in the Morong Express, they have also pointed out that we're doing our best here and there, but unfortunately, even after about 50 years since a proper newspaper emerged from Nagaland, the concept of investigative journalism has still yet to find a place within our journalistic consciousness, Accra. So, in regard to your question, no, we are not focusing on corruption yet. Generally, the media institutions in Nagaland are all controlled by financial oligarchs, people who have the financial resources to run companies, set up proper infrastructure to set up newspapers and television institutions. Now, when we are talking about a free society, we are basically talking about a media that is not controlled by any entity, whether it's government or by private individuals. So when the media is strong, it means that it has the capability to make informed choices, which means the media can report on facts. They don't have to be partial to any individual or government or political parties when reporting. So that is the kind of freedom that affords you the space to exercise free speech, for instance, and pursue investigative journalism. So these choices are directly linked to the way the media interacts with the society. So if you stop reporting on facts, if you stop reporting on truths, issues that directly affect the society, it means there is a disconnect between you and your viewership and your circulation. and the people who believe in the journalistic institution. So the first thing we have to do to gain the trust of the people, especially in the northeastern states of Assam and Meghalaya and Nagaland, these three states, where I think the question of accountability is still very, very low. People don't broach it because all the media institutions are controlled by financial oligarchs, people who are in power and who have a level of influence. So in order for us to gain the trust of the people is to go for stories that hold people in power accountable for management. It could be about financial management, it could be about administration, it could be governance of the people and how welfare schemes are being implemented, what level of welfare benefits they enjoy within a certain governmental framework. So in order for us to gain the trust of the people, we have to pick issues that directly affect the people, because you are not going to listen to a story that does not affect you. The story that you listen to are the stories that are directly connected with your life. So I think it would be really wonderful if the media institutions, newspapers, televisions in Nagaland would start picking up stories about development or the lack of it, or accountability or the lack of it, financial management or financial mismanagement. So these are stories that directly affect citizens. So I think the first step would be to pick up issues that are connected directly to the welfare of the people. And second, I think it would be really good, just like one of my friends from the newspapers said, I think the newspapers and the television media in Nagaland need to start interacting with the people at a company to people level, where you educate them about their rights, where you speak stories that are not connected not only to their welfare, but also stories that you envisage to see even in the future. Because when we talk of welfare, we're not talking only about people now. We are also talking about what kind of welfare personalities they are going to become in the future as citizens. So I think it'll be really good if the media in Nagaland would start interacting with the people at that level, actually. I think it is a wonderful progression for a community that has largely been tribal, and we are still waking up to the benefits of globalization that happened 20 years ago. So it's very interesting. Of course, we all have dreams, and we all have some kind of an image about our people and society in our heads, and where we want them to be. But specifically for the media, I would love to see the Nagaland media in a place 5 years from now on where people are recognizing us not as centers of information dissemination, but as symbols of democracy, as symbols of accountability, and as symbols that represent the thirst and the hunger of the people for truth, and second, accountability in the community and within the government framework too. And I would love to see the media as a watchdog for the rights of the people, that they are the guardians that take care of the people who have no voice on their own to speak for themselves. So I think that will be a really nice place.
Do you think you and the media in general in Nagaland is doing enough to encourage the public to engage in accountability and corruption issues the way the newspaper aspires for welfare justice?
No. To be honest, we are not doing that. We are not giving enough space to genuine issues, and in Nagaland one of the most concerning issues is of corruption, of lack of development. We are just touching the surface at times. We are not going into why such problem exists in the society, we are not digging in deep. If we are digging in deep and exposing more, I think we'd have better engagement with the public.
In the defense of the print media, I feel that the media here in Nagaland is doing the best we can to bring out issues of corruption and what I would call misgovernance by the policymakers. But on many occasions, or in most occasions, most of our stories or our work go away, fizzles out unnoticed, which I believe is a result of a public which are hardly interested in issues of corruption.
I think I believe we are doing our best to inform the public regarding different, let's say, corruption issues, anomalies, as well as holding the power that be accountable and make them transparent as far as possible. So, yeah, there is a lot to be done, but I believe we have succeeded to some level. Yeah.
So do you think that the newspaper is giving adequate focus to issues of corruption and accountability?
Within the parameters that we are operating, I believe, as I stated in the earlier answer in the earlier question, we are doing. There are several challenges, as we all know, under which the press, especially the print media in Nagaland, are bounded, be it political, be it social, and other challenges, and as well as financial challenges that come about. So there are several challenges, but at the same time, within that narrow outlet that we operate, we have, at least I want to believe that we have been able to do that.
Again, as I said, no, we are not. We are not, absolutely not. Of course, I wouldn't say it's not being done at all. It's being done. There are some journalists, there are a few stories now and then that do highlight, that do question, that raise the question of accountability. But we are simply not doing enough for a state like Nagaland, and it's not something that is not known everywhere in social media, among the general public. People are screaming about corruption. People are not getting their salaries. It's there. It's there right in front of our eyes. And the media is not doing enough to highlight those. Media is not asking the questions, the right questions. Media is not holding anybody accountable. Yes, in that way we are failing.
So considering the challenges the media is facing in India, especially from right-wing political organizations, what are the ways that regional medias can counter the assault on free speech and accountability activities?
I think the answer to that would be to continue doing what we are doing currently, not to be bogged down, to be confident and to be bold. That's it.
Regional media it can be expressed in many ways, but if we are talking about from the context of Nagaland, regional medias are, while some electronic medias are coming up, the most important voices so far has been the print media. So print media in their own way has been able to withstand several challenges. And one of the challenges that we face is that the perspective from national media, while it is being objective, tends to be, they are like a fly-by-night operator. They will come, report on the news, and go back without contextualizing the issues. So it is the duty of the local media, the regional media, to counter, for example, the claims that are being made against or for certain issue, and to bring out and contextualize the various issues that is developing. Right-wing assault. I mean, unfortunately, India's press freedom, as the latest Reporters Without Freedom Press Index has shown, has fallen this year also to 161, or I think 161 out of, I think, 170 countries. So that's quite concerning, so to say. And during the last 20 years, we have fallen more than 20 points. Slipped more than 20 points in that context. But what we can do, and what we can do to counter such narrative, is to make hold of different technologies that are available to us. Too, we are we may be little financially crunched, but through different mediums that digital media offers, we can try to counter such narratives.
Take on government propaganda by hard facts, with hard facts. For that we have to really, it can't be something like touch and go story. We have to work really hard, do in-depth stories, ask the right questions. Okay. National media, yes, national media, we are seeing national media is under threat. But even then, there are journalists, there are media houses who are still reporting as journalists are expected to do, who are still telling the story that is the government or the state is trying to sweep under the carpet. Regional media, we are still not facing, we are still not in the eye of the storm. We are still not facing that assault. And if we go on this way, one day we will be under attack. It's like a buffer zone we have even now. This is the time we should actually talk to the people, do in-depth stories. We don't need to hit out against somebody. We need to just present the facts. That's most important. In today's time, presenting the facts, dispelling rumors and dispelling fake news is the most important thing, and the best way to tackle the state that is trying to dump the media down. Now the difference is, in social media anybody can say anything, and accountability. See, social media doesn't have that accountability that conventional media has, right? We have a certain accountability. We cannot just bluntly say things or use languages that the social media uses, which seem very exciting on the face of it, right? Social media, yes, social media is appropriating, as you said, but is it a threat? I don't think it is a threat, because the relevance of conventional media, the accountability that the conventional media has, the trust the public has in conventional media is quite different. Social media social media is still not there. And as I said, engagement with the public. Social media engages with the public, they are visible, but at the same time they are lost in a cacophony. There's a lot of noise. Social media, there's a lot of noise, and it's basically what is happening. Even this question that you're asking me is being asked because journalism has become a lot about noise. But journalism is not about a lot of noise. Journalism is about hard facts, the real stories, the stories untold. Journalism is about research. Journalism is about looking deep into the society. I don't think if whichever media house is trying to compete in the noise quotient, in the noise sector, they will feel threatened by the social media. Others won't.
It's not a threat per se, but it's a very big challenge and it is a challenge that is being faced by not only us but all the mainstream medias and traditional medias that are exhibiting all over the world. But how we transform from traditional media to a, let's say, digital-based media is one of the challenges and target for each traditional mainstream media. So, but what this proliferation of such social media handles or others has shown us is that one thing has not been erased: the need for authentic and verified information, and this responsibility is being done by the traditional medias. For example, these days, busting fake news is becoming one of the major major areas of news or reportage in the world, as well as tackling misinformation, malinformation, and disinformation for various reasons. So that's yeah.
Okay, so speaking under that thing again, so how can the traditional medias, like you have used the word, tackle the growth of individuals who appropriate journalistic principles on social media such as YouTube and social media to promote their content?
At the end of the day, for you to become a credible media media outlet, you have to be consistent, and also events like, for example, an election or say, for example, a contentious issues. These are the litmus test for a news organization, I suppose. By how you report such events or how you report such development, your credibility will be assessed. So, if you must have seen during the recent election, many social media handles or so-called social media news outlet, some are openly supporting some candidate, some are openly campaigning for some candidate. So at that time, your whole credibility suffers. That's all. So as a news organization, I believe that you have to be neutral on issues, and your reportage and news should be based on fact and balanced and responsible presentation. Yeah.
Whatever YouTubers are doing, whatever people on Facebook, people on Instagram are doing, again they're doing it because we have left a vacuum. But the conventional media, the newspapers, the print media, the web media, the websites, news portals, they need to have feet on the ground, quick, fast. They need to be there. They cannot. That complacency is killing us. They cannot wait for news to come to them. They have to reach, physically be present there. They need to foresee that such an incident can happen.
I think it all boils down to regulation. For the print media, we have the Press Council of India. But as far as my knowledge goes, so far there's no such body for digital media. So I think the Broadcasting Ministry has issued a directive, or they have come out with a bill to regulate this particular sector of the media. But before that, I think the people or the listeners, the subscribers, the viewers should also be prudent, wise enough to distinguish the fake from the genuine.
Alright, so India has been ranked 161st in the Press Freedom Index, even lower from 158 in 2022. Is the media itself to be blamed for this, for not standing up for their principles?
Yep, I think the media is partially to be blamed as well, because most of the big name media houses, media organizations in India have succumbed to the pressure of the of the people or the party in power, and they are inclining towards, I mean, a more right-wing rhetoric, which I believe is not healthy. However, there are still some independent media organizations left, which are doing, whatever it can. I mean, I would like to name the Telegraph in particular, which has been doing an excellent job. And as far as Nagaland is concerned, I think the print media, without being rude to the, I should say, the broadcasting or the digital, the TV media, I think the print media in Nagaland is holding its ground.
One of the concerning developments of the media, especially the electronic media over the years, has been they have now become a sort of cheerleader for the government. So, in many ways, we see that when an issue is against the government, they always come in defense. But when the issue is against the opposition, they tend to highlight the issue more and more. So, and also the ownership is also becoming concentrated on some few conglomerate, which is also again may affect the independence of the press in a way. A lot of medias or new medias, digital medias as well as traditional medias, who are standing up or who I believe has withstood such challenges coming from different quarters and able to voice out your concern and question the power that be, and also hold the power that be accountable.
Media is of course to blame. Media has failed. Media has failed. There are still people, hats off to them, there are still people who are fighting. It's a tough fight, no doubt. I know a lot of my friends, senior friends, who have been laid off, who have lost their jobs, but they preferred giving up the comfort of that monthly salary than compromising on the ethics of journalism. They have refused to compromise on the ethics of journalism. They have been laid off, they have been fired, they have gone for small media houses or independent media houses which are not able to pay the package probably they were getting. But yes, largely the media has failed. The media has failed its people. The narrative has changed. Yes, there is throughout history there will never be I think the state will always try to bend the rules and suit things, do things according to what suit them, right? It is the job of the media to counter that. It is the job of the media to fight that and ask the questions, bring out the facts. This attack on media is not a new thing. It's not a new thing. It would be wrong to say that this government is the only government doing that. It is not. Yes, the magnitude of it, of course, we all can see. But there are countries where media faces wars, and even there are journalists who stand up, who don't compromise, who stick to their ethics and principles of journalism, who still report, who still do justice to the society, to journalism. So I think, answering to your question, I think media has failed, and media is responsible. Indian media is responsible too. We can win back the trust of the people by doing what we are supposed to do. We are supposed to report. We are supposed to give people the arm people with the information with which they can make informed decisions.
There seemed to be a level of unanimity that The media in Nagaland need to start reporting from the ground instead of pursuing sensationalized events. Hornbill TV also got in touch with Nagaland Post, Eastern Mirror and Nagaland Page and journalists from Kohima. However, due to scheduling and programming conflict, they could not join the conversation at this time. Nonetheless, we hope to have conversations on a relevant issue in this regard in the future.